I never wanted to get pregnant or get married. All I wanted was to go to school and become a nurse, but I was forced into it.
I was a virgin before he took me to his house. The first time and every other time was very painful.
The rates of child marriages in the world are alarming. This year, about 15 million girls in sub-Saharan Africa will be married before they are 18. According to the Ghana Demographic Health Survey in 2008, on average, 1 out of 4 girls will be married before their 18th birthday.
Worldwide, it is estimated that about 1.16 million girls are married. Per day, we are getting 38,000 girls being married and 27 girls who are married by the minute.
The prevalence rate of early and forced marriages in Ghana showed that Upper East region had the highest of 50%, followed by the Upper West with 39%, Northern 36%, Bnohafo 33%, Central 28%, Ashanti 23%, Eastern 18%, Volta 33%, Western 18%, and Greater Accra region with the least of 11%.
These percentages tell us that it is a serious issue in Ghana that we are finding girls in particular being married before they turn 18.
According to the Convention on the Rights of the Child, early marriage refers to any marriage of a person younger than 18 years. Even though early marriage affects boys and girls, it predominantly impacts girls.
My name is Linda. I am 16 years old. When I was growing up, my dream was to become a nurse. This dream was shattered one day when I was gang raped by a man and his friends. Later, I got pregnant and the man's family brought 6 bowls of maize and some pepper to appease my family. But I was told that I was going to marry him.
My name is Evelyn. I am 17 years. A certain man came to see someone near my house one day and saw me around. He later came back to propose love to me and continued coming here for more than 2 to 3 weeks. I accepted his proposal because my father could not provide my basic needs as a student. He then forced me to pack my things and come and live with him without telling my parents, and I also did.
Linda and Evelyn are victims of early and forced marriages. These marriages are performed under duress and without the full and informed consent or free will of both parties. This may be between young people themselves, a young person and an adult, or between adults. Here also, young women are the most victims. They fall victim to forced marriage through deception, abduction, coercion, fear, and inducements.
When you even consider our laws, the Children's Act, the marriage age is supposed to be 18. That's where you can get married. Even that age, when you consider our educational facilities, 18 years, you are now completing SS. You haven't started tertiary to talk of getting work to be empowered enough to get married.
Section 15 also specifies the punishment of the crime, that you can be fined 500 Ghana cedis or go into prison for 1 year or both when you are arrested and they send you to court.
Early marriage occurs more frequently among girls who are the least educated, poorest, and living in rural areas.
When a man or woman realizes that he or she is poor and sees that they can get something from the in-law, they push the child to go in for the marriage. I did not have money. Otherwise, I would have taken good care of Evelyn. I couldn't provide the things she needed in school, like books, sandals, and the rest, but the man could provide all those things for her, and that is why I allowed him to take Evelyn away.
Traditional and religious beliefs also fuel the practice of early and forced marriage.
In those days, they tested their young girls into marriage by a physical ordeal. That is, if you are able to carry quantity of wood from the farm to the house without falling, without saying that let me remove the wood, they say you are now preparing for marriage.
The Muslim aspect, we think that children should be married when they are virgins, and if you don't catch them young, Then you leave them to go and become promiscuous, and then later when they get married, they don't attain what is expected of them.
The other one is peer pressure from colleagues. When they see them doing the same thing and they begin mocking them, so they follow up and begin doing the same thing.
Again, the issue of continuity of the perpetuation of early forced marriage. The mother was married through the same means, so the sister was also married through the same means. The mother and the family doesn't see why the child should not be married through that same means.
Early marriages have many consequences for girls. Education is often the first casualty. The loss of education harms not only the girls, but in the long run, entire communities.
While I was working in the house and on the farm, I always thought about my dream of becoming a nurse, but I knew that could only be after I went to school and completed.
The physical consequences of early marriages can be severe. The girls are most likely to experience violence, abuse, and forced sexual relations. They also experience poor sexual and reproductive health. Pregnancy before a girl's body is fully formed may lead to difficulty in prolonged labor. If she survives, she could be left with a permanent damage both physically and psychologically.
Now this is the pelvis of an adult, and the bones have to be big enough, and then the space to be big enough for the baby to pass out and come. If she's lucky enough to have a place where they realize that she cannot deliver, they may offer her a cesarean section to get the baby out.
During pregnancy, I always felt uneasy and heavy. It was very difficult because I had not experienced such a thing before. And when I was due to give birth, I could not push the baby out. So they operated me before bringing out the baby. I went through hell.
If she decides to push, now the baby is coming from this part, coming in there. Then it gets to the middle here. There's no space for it to come. Up here is the bladder where the urine is produced. The baby's head is pushing against the bladder there. Then the tissue between the bladder and the baby's head and the uterus gets, we call something necrosis. So there's a continuation now between the urine bladder and then the vagina. And that is what we call a fistula. So that the woman, even if she's able to deliver, after she'll be walking and then she can't control her urine. If this happens downstairs, then there's a fistula between the rectum where the feces come out and then the vagina. That's a recto-vaginal fistula. And then she'll be leaking feces through the vagina. There's a big toll on the woman. So you need somebody who's mature, who's psychologically sound and stable for such thing. And this is about 13-year-old 11. It's not ready to have a baby. It's not ready to get pregnant.
I'm only 17 years and already a widow. There's nobody to take care of me, and that forced me to come back to live with my parents with my baby. What worries me most is that even those days, my parents could not take care of me alone and provide my needs. Now I have added a baby. What is going to be our fate?
Urgent action is needed to take solutions to skill and prevent thousands of girls in Ghana today from being married in the next few decades. CARE has established a project against forced early marriages, PAFEM, in the Upper West region of Ghana, where the practice of early forced marriage is common and overall rates are alarming, to educate communities about the disadvantages of the practice and also to call for action by government, parliament and civil society to stop early and forced marriages in the country. CARE also seeks to educate adolescents on early and forced marriages through establishing girls' clubs and organizing girls' mentor camps.
We've also brought them together in a training that educated them on their rights, issues around forced marriages, child rights abuses, and how to report them when they occur. Then also we want them to serve as leaders, leading change. So as part of that training, we also did a lot around peer educator. How do they go out and engage with their colleagues in addressing sociocultural issues and other issues?
We are empowering the children to get to know that their rights mustn't be trampled upon. The tradition has nothing to do to them. Their rights are there to protect them, so they should come on and then report cases. Because if we don't get to know them, there's no way we can help out.
We send a lot of women who have completed schools to take care of them in their clinics, so that these role model women, when they see them, these girls are encouraged, motivated to learn and continue to be in school.
I'm hoping that by sharing my own life experiences with these young ones, I'll be able to help them see that even when you are from a little community, a little village within the Upper West region, with determination, you can make it.
I learned from women personalities and what they become today, and then the challenges they were going through, and then some early forced marriage, how to prevent it.
For us to get the support to enable girls access education, we cannot only talk to the girls alone. Once the community understands their roles and responsibilities over these children, they can support the children.
Care Ghana prioritizes the rural and vulnerable poor, women in particular, and organizes its work around health, governance, sustainable livelihoods, and education. Its projects are primarily implemented through partnerships and/or consultations with local and civil society organizations.
Two of them are based in the region, in the Upper West region. One is Action for Sustainable Development, and the other one is Community Aid for Rural Development. So these ones are really helping us, mobilizing the girls, doing the community education, school club education. And then one at the national level, which is Women in Law and Development in Africa. They have a legal background, they're good at policy analysis, so they also help in doing the engagement with the policymakers at the national level, with Parliament as well.
And some of the girls that were out of school because of early forced marriage are now being enrolled back. They want to go back to school to continue with their education.
For me, what even excites me most is the children. I was part of one of the girls' clubs training, and I saw the beginning of the training. How the girls didn't want to talk, they were shy and all that. But at the end of the 3 days training, you could see that they were quite alive, they were quite active, and a lot of them were talking more freely and actively.
What I have for people is that they should take good care of their children. For me, I am against early forced marriages. But if people allow their children to go wayward, it would not be a challenge for me alone, but for their families and the whole community.
Ending early and forced marriage requires strategies for girls' empowerment, social and cultural norms change, legal reform and policy action. Proven solutions involve girls' schooling, especially in the lower secondary, and programs that offer life skills, literacy, health information and services, and social support. Married girls especially need access to sexual and reproductive health services, including family planning and maternal health services. The combined efforts of CARE, the government and other NGOs will hopefully put an end to the traditional practice of early marriage and support other girls like Evelyn and Linda to live their lives without fear and grow up to realize their full potential.
Now that I am sitting at home doing nothing, if I get the opportunity to learn a trade, I will do hairdressing or tailoring.
Now I am back in school. I'm in JHS 2. Even though it is difficult to take care of my baby and go to school at the same time, I will try my best to go through it, learn hard, and by God's grace, become the nurse that I want to be.